what is this little multimeter? What is it? This little magical box. Like I have a slew of them over here. I mean, we'll go through them probably one by one, honestly. But how does this little magic box work when you turn this thing on? What the heck is it doing, right? And so it's not as complicated as a lot of people think. It's just, you know, engineers would say this is basic AC and DC electrical theory. And so this right here is an analog multimeter, and this is where it all came from, right? Analog just means I don't have ones and zeros in digital. I get 2 amps and my needle goes this far. I get 5 amps and it goes further, right? It's analog. It's like the hydraulic stick on your tractor. You push it further, it goes farther, you know? So where did it all come from? Well, let's talk about the voltmeter first, right? The voltmeter is probably one of the easiest ones to wrap your head around. And so when you look at the basic circuit for a voltmeter, what you're going to see is that you want to measure a voltage, right? And so the voltage is going to be the load. It's going to be whether it's the main terminals of a 480 volt panel, or you're going up to a motor while it's running and you just want to measure, you know, how much, what the, you know, the voltage of the load, the motor, you know, what is it receiving? And so in order to do that, what we have right here is a voltmeter. Now, this little back right here, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna pop this little cover off, but this is, and you can see this is a real one. It moves and everything. So this little, you know, paper, we can change this out. If we change the components in here and whatnot, we might affect the scale of the meter. It might go from 0 to 100 right now, or it might go to 0 to 5,000, depending on what we, you know, how we design the circuit. But this is a piece of paper, we could change it. So how does this thing work? It's all this is, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it really good, but because my camera focus. But all this is it's just a coil of wire wrapped around a little armature, and that armature can spin freely, and it's a very soft spring in there that keeps this needle going back towards the 0 position, right? And then that little armature is just free floating like this. We put a magnet here and a magnet here, and if we go ahead and apply a magnetic field, or a current, the magnetic field wants to chase the one that we have around it, and so the needle moves, right? So
yeah, I want to kind of chime in too, to kind of take it back to super layman's terms right quick. Why would we want to measure voltage for anything in general? What's the point, I guess?
Lots of good reasons, right? Your walls in your house, you can only put 110, 120 volts to your TV. So what happens if the transformer on the pole's going bad, you know, you might want to verify that, you know. There's a lot of new installations when you're building substations that you need to measure the output voltage before you put something into service. There's a lot of good reasons. Troubleshooting if you're having issues with a motor. So there's a lot of good reasons to measure voltage.
Gotcha. Just want to make sure that everybody's kind of tracking as to the why. So we have current, we have voltage, we have resistance, and kind of how all that stuff kind of ties in, that for those who aren't necessarily familiar with electrical theory.
Absolutely. So, well, this little coil though, the only problem with it is that it's just a coil of wire, and it's practically a dead short because it's just a piece of wire. So in order to make this controllable, what we do is we put a resistor in series with it. And then we can, if we make that resistor adjustable, then now we can calibrate this meter to our scale. So we can adjust it up and down, and then this meter, when we say it's at 400, it's actually on 400. You know, so we would apply 400 to the circuit and make sure that the needle stays on 400 and then move it, you know. So, or reprint our scales so that way it matches our meter, however you have to do it. But that's the basic concept of a voltmeter.